Hi, my name is Nicholas. Welcome to this week's Yin practice. For props for today, I suggest having a couple hard blocks, a soft block, and a bolster, and anything else that you like to practice with. I'll invite you to get started in a supported fish pose. So if you want, you can take the bolster lengthwise, kind of about 3/4 of the way up the mat, and then your choice how you want to use the other prop. So we're going to come and lie the spine down onto the bolster. So if you know that you like a different angle and you want to use your hard blocks at the far end just to pitch it a little bit differently, if that's more comfortable for you, then go for it. Otherwise, you might use the blocks down at the other end so that you can find butterfly legs and rest the knees into them. And then if you have a bolster or if you're using a pillow that's really thick, then sometimes that's a little steep for the low back. So you can put your soft block just in front of it, and then it's kind of a slightly less of an arch. Either way, you can come to sit just in front of the bolster. And then think about releasing the spine down onto it. Straight away, you can see how this feels, and you can add in any extra support that you need. If you're coming with me for butterfly legs, then soles of the feet together, knees apart, and you can have the feet closer in or further away, see what feels better. Also the option to have the legs extended here. You can still use a prop under each thigh if that feels better for the knees. Check in here. See if there's anything else that you'd like to adjust to make the shape a little more comfortable. When you feel ready, come and find your stillness. Maybe closing down the eyes. Take a moment to notice your headspace here. Does it feel busy or quiet or something else? If you notice your mind starting to wander, see if you can bring it back to your experience of this pose. Bring that awareness back to the body. And see if you'd benefit from a little more time here, and you're welcome to stay. Otherwise, as you feel ready to, reaching down, helping the knees in together, and then rolling down to one side, taking a pause for a couple of breaths. You can push your bolster out of the way And then come back to lying down on the back. Maybe taking the feet a little bit wider apart. Give yourself a gentle windshield wiper side to side and use this movement just to check in with the body. Awesome. And then bringing the feet a little bit closer together, we'll lift the hips and then slide the bolster underneath the pelvis. So see what feels comfortable. Think under the bum more so than under the spine. Finding a restorative bridge shape. And then straight away you can also see if you need a little extra height here. Maybe you want a little more sensation. You could also bring your soft block either above or beneath the bolster. And then if you'd rather stay with the knees bent like this, then you're welcome to. Otherwise, you can start to walk the feet a little further away. And let the pelvis be heavy here. Let the feet do whatever they want to do. So if they want to flop out or in a little bit, just let them find their natural shape. Make sure it feels like a pain-free expression. If you do feel pinching or anything, then you can back out or you can rebend the knees. If you like to take the arms into it as well, then you can reach them to the floor overhead. Find your stillness as you're ready. If your arms are extended overhead, then you can release them to your sides. If the legs are extended, then slowly start to walk the feet back in and lift the hips just high enough that you can remove your props. You can take your bolster over to the right hand side, and you can either use your bolster or one of your hard blocks for this. And scoot the hips over to the left and extend that right leg towards straight. And then guide the left knee across the body and land onto your prop. If you need to adjust anything, then go for it. The right hand can stay with the left knee the whole time, or you could do arms to a T shape. You could also take that left arm back to the floor overhead, but if it starts to feel numb or anything like that, then bring it back down. If the left arm is lifted, then you can release it and gently roll the hips back to midline. Unravel the legs. And then we'll set up for the second side. So if you're using a bolster or your blocks, and you can take them over to the left. And extending the left leg, scooting the hips over to the right, and now guide the right knee across the body onto your props. This side may feel a little different, so take your time setting yourself up. You can add that right arm reaching to the floor overhead, or if you need it for support or a little differently, then go for it. Coming to find your stillness as you're ready. You can release your right arm first, and then gently release that right leg. And scoot the hips into midline, and then take the feet a little wider, rest the knees in together. Maybe stillness, or if you like a gentle windshield wiper, then choose that. And when you're ready, roll down to one side and pause just for a breath or two. And with the support of the hands, making your way up to come and find a seat. And we're going to set up for a squat here. So for starters, you can keep your bum on the floor, take your feet a little wider, and do your squat from here. Or walk the feet in, and you can lift the hips up off the floor. You could still use your props, maybe bringing the bolster in underneath or your hard blocks to make yourself a seat. If the heels are lifting, that's not a bad thing, but if it feels better to ground them into something, then feel free to add some props there as well. We're going to round the spine here, so you can keep the hands down. You can let the head start to get nice and heavy. And without pulling, if you'd like to add some more weight to the skull, then you could think about interlacing the hands right behind it. Make sure that this is a pain-free expression. You can always back out when you need to. And when you feel steady here, settle yourself into stillness. Notice whatever comes up in the body. If you have the bind, you can gently release, bring the fingertips to the floor, and then start to lift your spine back upright. It might feel nice as a counter stretch to press the palms together, let the spine lengthen, maybe find a little room across the chest. Awesome. And then as you're ready, you can release the hips down to the floor. And maybe one more time, a gentle windshield wiper side to side. Awesome. We're going to set up for a seated fold now. So maybe coming to sit up off of your soft block. And then we'll have the legs mostly extended and mostly together, but do whatever feels best in your body. So maybe the feet are roughly in line with the outer hip. Maybe you want them as wide as the mat, or maybe you want them all the way together. And then a few different options for your props. Depending on how far into the fold you're coming, you could have the prop to one end of the floor, and then the other end maybe to the chest, maybe to the forehead. You could also take the bolster down between the legs, and maybe you're folding down onto it, maybe the elbows reach there, and you can also take it down underneath the knees, kind of across the mat. Especially if you don't want to extend the legs all the way, or if you have a tendency to hyperextend even, then this may feel like the most comfortable. You can also have your other props nearby so that when you come into fold, if you want to support the head or anything else, then go for it. So come and find your version of a fold, and come into it however you like. If you want to add letting the head be heavy again, then go for it. If you want to have the chest to the thighs, or if you're focusing on keeping some space across the chest, anything like that, feel free to accommodate. Always a pain-free expression. So if you need to come out sooner, if you need to modify, then that's fine. But while you're in your shape, see if you can find stillness. And see if you can keep the mind quiet here as well. From your fold, as you're ready, slowly start to walk the hands back in. Lifting the spine back up. You can move the bolster out of the way, maybe extending the legs, tapping the backs of the knees to the floor, a gentle swish of the feet side to side. You can also take the hands slightly behind you and then press the palms down to puff up the chest, maybe wiggling the shoulders here as well for a counter stretch. And then as you're ready, we'll come down to rest on the back. So if you'd like to take a bolster back underneath the knees, or if you want any of your other props around, then go for it. And you can come down any way you like. We'll come and find our rest pose here. For your Shavasana, choose any comfortable symmetrical shape for the spine. And check in with the body. If anything needs a little movement to help you settle, then go for it. And then come and find your stillness as you're ready. Gently deepen the breath here. And give the head a gentle rock side to side. And wiggle your fingers and your toes. Pedal the heels, rotate the wrists. You might take the arms up overhead and give yourself a full body stretch. Pointing the toes and the fingertips, maybe wiggling the hips and the shoulders. When you're ready, you can roll down onto one side and take a breath or two there. And when you're ready, with the support of the hands, coming up to find any comfortable seated position. You can use any of your props for support. And coming to find your shape here. And take that scan through the body just to notice. And check in with your headspace. Notice the flow of your breath. Perhaps connecting the hands at the heart, bowing the chin towards the chest. Thank you for sharing your practice today. Namaste. thank you for joining me for Yin practice. And my name is Nicholas. If you have any questions, please reach out and enjoy the rest of your day.